When people think, a lot of people think of herbal medicine, they think of marijuana comes to mind right away. Is there uh, a benefit to that now that a lot of states are using that for medicine,
And
medical purposes?
I guess two states just voted positively on it
Yeah, we're
yesterday.
shooting this the day after the election, so yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they approved it for recreational or just purely medical use.
Recreation in
Was it
Colorado and
was it
Washington.
unbelievable? So the answer is yes. Is there medical benefit of cannabis? So the bottom line
Hmm.
answer is yes. Now, 10 years ago, a lot of folks, especially in California, would ask me to do a radio or segment on their stations, and they would say, and we're also going to have a medical cannabis person on as well. And I'd say, you know what? No, thank you. It's not my drug of choice. I did my own smoking in high school, but I was done before I was out of high school. Went into the Army and never went back, and never did drugs after that. But I had my experience with cannabis, and I don't have. I think it should be legal. Personal feeling is that it should be legalized in the same way that alcohol and cigarettes are. Both of those of which we know are high